first of all, I'd like to say thank you to everyone that's joining us today. We're very excited to be able to present the overview of our Productivity Now solution and give you a feel for what this e-learning platform and productivity tool could really mean for your organizations. Today, we're going to have a few items to go over. I'm going to really quickly just do a couple of things about, IMAGINiT Technologies, who we are. We're going to talk briefly about a few industry trends, and then we're going to get into talking about the Productivity Now solution, as well as a demo, and then we'll wrap it up at the end with some Q&A and give you an opportunity to ask questions through the chat, as Abby mentioned. So very quickly, for those of you that are new to IMAGINiT Technologies, we are an Autodesk Platinum VAR. We've been in the market for over 25 years, but there's a couple of key things I'd like to call out, specifically about our organization. We are Autodesk's largest service provider and currently have over 135 members in our professional consulting and technical support training roles. With that, we also have a dedicated support team. That organization is 100% dedicated to providing end-user technical support, helping our clients use the software, get it installed, dealing with issues that your users would come up with on a daily basis. And then the other thing that's really key that I want to mention that ties directly into our Productivity Now solution is our sister company, Ascent. For those of you who are not as familiar with Ascent, they are an Autodesk authorized publisher. They've been creating the Autodesk official training guides that are in use by most of the Autodesk ATCs, the authorized training centers across North America and really the globe for the last 15, 20 years. And they are our sister company. We assist them. Our consulting team helps them with validating and reviewing, updating their curriculum. And as such, we get to utilize their curriculum within our Productivity Now system, which you'll see here in a little bit. So we've had a e-learning solution for a number of years. But when we looked at the solution that we were offering 2 years ago, we stepped back and said, we just don't feel this platform is giving us the capabilities and the abilities that our clients were asking for. And we started looking at industry trends, trying to figure out what we needed to do. And there was a few things that really stood out to us. E-learning is a huge item in the world today. The younger generation is accustomed to learning on the fly. And as such, when we started talking to customers and looking at how they're using the tools, we found that e-learning and e-learning platforms like Productivity Now are becoming a very key part of their infrastructure and their internal offerings to their employees, to the extent that 42% of the companies surveyed are saying that they believe their e-learning has led to an increase in their company's revenue. As such, we know that it's not just any solution that will provide that type of return. You have to have the right solution to be able to bring in those returns. And as such, we went out and we worked with vendors, Eagle Point in this situation, to provide their platform with our curriculum, our support, and our tools on top of it to create what we termed our Productivity Now solution. And we have shown that e-learning, having access to e-learning content, quality content, gives users the ability to retain anywhere from 25 to 60% more of the learning material because they can go back and reference it. They can go back and review it. It's in front of them when they need it versus having to wait for it. To that extent, we've also seen a huge uptick in, with the market space, the economy going as it is, that, employee retention is a huge thing. And in looking at several surveys, and these are surveys that I looked up and have pulled data on, but 74% of participants have said that lack of education, lack of professional development is the biggest hurdle they feel they run into in achieving results at work. And along that line, 70% of people surveyed in this HR survey were showing that having access to job-related training and development opportunities directly influence their decision to whether to stay with a company or to move on to other opportunities. It wasn't, in a lot of cases, salary wasn't the top thing. It was wanting that ability to move on. So all of this kind of led us to create the new platform and the new offering of our Productivity Now system. So let's talk a little bit about what is Productivity Now. Productivity Now, it's a platform. It is our branding of the underlying tool that provides a continuous learning platform where anybody from a new employee that's going through onboarding and trying to get up to speed on a new product to existing users who are looking for maybe ongoing advanced training or a specific new feature and trying to learn how to use it can come to learn. In addition, we've got built-in integration with an assessment tool that allows us to assess a user skill set and then create a custom learning path on the fly that will target those skill gaps. But it goes beyond that. It's also a knowledge sharing platform where you as an organization can capture your best practices. You can take our standard e-learning content and productivity content, customize it to make it yours so it fits your process, your workflow for your users. It includes things beyond just e-learning content. We have documents, technical documents, white papers. We have workflows, so you can actually show a process and lead a user step by step through what they need to do. And then we've partnered it up with access to our technical support team, which I mentioned earlier, via multiple different ways. 800 number access, live chat within the platform, email access. All of this put together with the effort to increase productivity, drive that user's demand by giving them access to the information that they need when they need it. And it really empowers your staff to be more successful, more productive, and to get that work done faster and meet your deadlines. So with that, that's a high-level overview. I'm going to now turn over the presentation to Todd Stewart and have him actually give us a live demonstration of the platform. Todd is the project programs manager for our Productivity Now solutions. And Todd, I'll let you take it away.
Yep. Excellent.
I'm turning it over to you.
Okay. So I'm going to start sharing that one moment. And thank you. I appreciate your time today as well. What I wanted to do is really just start going high level over the program itself and the offering. This is the portal. It's a very easy user interface. It has a lot of different functionality. It's really sharing and searching what you need when you need it, along with formal learning. So at the top, you're going to notice the search is really at the top, and that's the most powerful, or one of the most powerful points of this platform, is how fast it can search what you need when you need it. That's really, as you're working, you run into a roadblock or a speed bump, whatever it may be, you may need help with, just reminding yourself how to do something very quickly, maybe watching a short video, reading a document, or looking at a chapter again of one of the courses. So that's really the best part about the search, is really just typing in what you are working on and keeping it simple. It is a Google search type, so quotes and everything do make a difference. You have different publishers, the Ascent, the Eagle Point, the IMAGINiT, and this could be your company. This is just a mock company of myself, and then you can look at documents, learning paths, videos, workflows, everything Kevin was talking about previously in the slides. Also, being able to look at all the different products and versions, and you are able to hide anything in the system. By default, you get it all. You have everything we have access and put into there, you have access to. You are able to see. So if you're looking at AutoCAD blocks and you're working in 2019 per se, you can look at all the different types of information. And if it's not in here, an error, you can link over to other sites such as a Knowledge Network, or If it's something that you want to look at a short video, you can even share this. Maybe your friend or maybe a colleague is asking you about, creating blocks. You can say, here's a short 2-minute video on it. Go watch this. Send them a link, share it via email, drop it into shared work groups like a shared folder. You can even share it to yourself for later if it's something that you want to remind yourself or you do every 6 months and you want a reminder. So again, you have the learning paths, you have videos, you have workflows, you have documents. And that's what's great about this. If you even look at a document here, you'll find that there are embedded commands in the documents and workflows. If you install the user tools, which is a small add-in, it will actually launch commands inside of your AutoCAD-based or Revit software so that you can have, just go to the command, not have to look in the ribbon and find the button and do everything or type anything. It's really simple. We want to get you up and going, and again, sharing it, saving it for later, creating comments or feedback to the publisher or comments to your peers. Additional related items, these are all in the same, let's say, issue type or related to it. That is what those are. But going back, we have these videos, and all the videos have been transcribed, at least I'd say 99% of them, and that's what we search on, and that's what makes it so nice. And these are really simple, easy, just like the ones that are embedded throughout the courses. It's teaching the material. It's teaching it, not, reading books on tape. But this is just a short video. You could also share it from here, anywhere, drop it in. It's really easy to get around in. The other thing you can look at, and this is very nice, is the workflows that Kevin was talking about. So you can actually look at all the different levels and steps and processes of a workflow for above and beyond the training. It's really applying it. So if I look at this one, it's showing you step by step a visual look, a hierarchy, and I'm expanding each of these, and you'll start seeing breakouts of all the different details of what's going on or what we want you to do. And you can put in screenshots. You can put in links to other content or videos or websites or whatever you want. It's all in there. And so that's what's great about these is you can copy these. Everything in here is customizable. You can copy and reuse and make it your own. So if you're talking about starting a project, how do you do it in Revit, Inventor, Civil 3D, and you grab the base one and start modifying it for your settings, putting your own screenshot, your own settings. That's what you can do with these workflows. And that way when you onboard people or people are looking at how do you do things, not how do you run the tool. This is beyond that. This is how do we do it at Stewart Associates. What do we do differently? Why is it this way? Yes, it's one thing to have tribal knowledge, but it's another to document it so that you can have it for people to quick reference. The last thing you can do, and as you noticed when I did search, there was a lot of information on learning, the paths themselves. So here in 2019 again, I'm able to go in and look at where it's at, what chapters, or just go to the learning path itself and look at it. I can enroll, self-enroll. Also, I can be assigned this course or this learning path by a manager and a due date. So if I don't have this enrollment right now, I can see exactly what it's going to cover, the prerequisites, and then if I want, I can expand each of these for the course material itself to see that there are pages, there are videos, there are work sets or data sets for hand-on practice exercises, and at the end there's a review. So I'm going to go ahead and enroll in just this one course chapter. I can assign a due date to myself or not, and then I can go to that course. You also will see those courses on the front page, on the home page, and also in your Learning Center. There's multiple ways to find it. If you want to share this to My Assets right here, you are able to then go into My Assets. If you have the user tool loaded, just like when you click on a command and it does it in the software, this will allow you to download this video, the chapter, the entire learning path offline, get on an airplane, go to a work site, a job site, study while you're traveling, and then that's up to 2 weeks. And then once you connect again, it will synchronize. So what's nice about this is you have now the start of the Ascent book. It's the same course that you would see if you walk into most Autodesk authorized training centers. And that's what's great about this, is that it's consistent, it's detailed, it's well established, been around for many years. Ascent is well respected, and you have that now. And we're one of the few, or but not the only other than Ascent, that has this content along with Eagle Point's videos and their training embedded throughout. So if you're looking at multiple learning modalities or types, you have comprehensive, you have visual, you have hands-on, tactile, and a quiz. So that's the most out there, and we have it very consistently throughout all of it. And again, it's an instructor teaching the material. You'll see how it runs through and gives you the ability to even move around in the video to where you need to be, so that you can see them teaching, not just reading a book, but actually teaching like you would in a classroom, looking at a projector, listening to the instructor. So in here, you also have the practice exercises. Download them. If you're doing them in a Civil 3D or a project-based software, Civil 3D, Inventor, Revit, you always want to start with the first chapter with the project itself, get all the data sets, and then move on from there and be able to do what it's asking. Start working with your hands. Then take and look at the review and do a questions, 6 out of 8 to win to pass this, and then finish. And these are simple questions that you'll get answers. That was 0 correct so far. Let's see here, I got 1 correct. But you can look at these later in your Learning Center here up in the corner. I'll be able to see the results and be able to print certificates of completion along with the history of the training I've done. I'm just going to grab a few here and see how I do. 50, I didn't quite get it. I think we need 6 out of 8. I got 5, so I would have to re-enroll and take this again. But I can go to my Learning Center and look at how I've done, look at those results, and see the answers of, download your enrollment history, how long, what you've done. Certificates of completion are also in here, and that's where you'll see those and be able to look at the answers and print certificates of completion. So that's the nice part about this system. You can submit these certificates and the enrollment history for CEC or PDH credits, professional credits. So think about that. You can go through all the training. You can submit them for continuing education as long as your professional organization accepts that as eLearning as an option. The next thing in here, you can see all of your training ongoing, what path and how far you've gone through each one. You can drop the courses, all of them, or the entire learning path, jump around to where you need to be. Or, again, from the home page, if you put stuff into the company ABC, maybe you do a lot of work for them, or maybe your department. As a manager, I'm dropping things in here that are very important to me, or maybe it's something I've added in the system that I want to really show everyone or, document. And then once you get them into here, you can actually rearrange them the way you want them. Maybe for a project, I can rearrange these if I edit them. I can also add or remove members or groups. You can set up groups however your business setup is and mimic that. In here, the last part of this that I really want to show is the ability to download as a manager the management utility, which I'll show in a moment. The user tools is right below it. Then if you wanted to look at the deployment guide as an administrator, you can to deploy this out. But understand, when you have professional, we have your back in a couple different ways. We have a ProductivityNOW success advisor that's assigned to you and to your company so that we can help you from start to finish of your term of your contract or year over year, continuing to implement, add content, message to the users, and meet your goals. And that person works with you, in the beginning, probably weekly to every monthly to quarterly, whatever works, and then continue to message and promote the ProductivityNOW service and ongoing professional development. That is really the difference in culture, and that's what it takes to remind people over and over, because the number one reason people do not continue to use a service that's self-paced on your own is they don't use it. And if they don't remember or they're not encouraged from top down, from management down, saying this is what we expect, we want you to learn, we want to invest in our people, we want to be better than the rest and continue to document our processes, we want to onboard people more efficiently, all those are reasons to have ProductivityNOW. The other side of this is being able to support you with technical support on the back end. You have a team of industry experienced technical experts that are available 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. We have a 4 business hour or less response time, telephone, chat, desktop streaming, send us an email, each their own. But we have multiple ways to get a hold of us and levels of priority or severity. Some are critical. A lot of people are down. They can't work to, hey, I've been working on this for a while and it's bugging me, or I was going through your course and I can't figure out what's going on. It won't apply to my model. We get all those. Plus you have 5 hours of design assistance time where you can schedule one-on-one time, 30 minutes or an hour with a technician to say, I'm having trouble with my template, updating it or adjusting it, or I'm having trouble designing this family in Revit or this model in Inventor. That kind of thing can be scheduled. Understand, we have Ascent courseware. You have all the different courses that are available, not only the fundamentals, but advanced and multiple versions. You have additionally, fundamentals, advanced, 3D modeling. That's just an AutoCAD in multiple versions. In Revit or Inventor, we have Inventor sheet metal or assembly or advanced assembly, advanced. There's another one I can't remember, but the Revit itself, we have multiple versions as well. 2019, we have design, site and conceptual design visualization, site and structure, templates and family creation. Advanced, we have certification courses for the Autodesk certification exam. These are prep. And we have the MEP, the Revit, MEP structure, all the individual discipline courses. So it's not just the fundamentals. Also, the Eagle Point video, or they are video and documents, but they are up in the Ascent courses. We've actually embedded these up into the Ascent to give you double the amount of training type of learning with comprehensive, the book, the videos from the Eagle Point training. Those are also there. Along with, there are some additional BIM 360s. They haven't been written in a book format yet, or Dynamo, or some of these Fusion, maybe Format. There's a few of these that just aren't ready for book. They're down in the Eagle Point training. So that's why we leave both. With the platform, you get Ascent, Autodesk, Bluebeam, Enscape, Lumion, and the obvious IMAGINiT and Pinnacle. You can choose to expand beyond your designers and say, we have Adobe, we have people doing Adobe work and marketing in other places. We have people using Bentley as well. You can add these publishers. It is additional cost, but you can add them. Business and management skills from HR. Maybe they have initiatives. Health and safety, OSHA in the U.S. Unfortunately, we don't have Canada yet. We're working on, we'll get there. The IMAGINiT Technologies, Lumion, McNeil. We're looking at Grasshopper Rhino analysis, or Microsoft Office. Maybe IT or HR wants to push that out and have that in here. So it goes beyond, and SketchUp is to, the final one. Goes beyond the designers. It goes into the organization. It's really how that is. One thing before we get into the management utility is we do have an option also to test people, do the assessment, knowledge gap training, prescribed training Kevin was talking about. That is extremely important today for efficiency. Time is money. You can look at having a person take a test, assign it to someone you're going to hire, maybe an interviewee, assign them, and then find out if they know AutoCAD. Do they know Inventor, fundamental of any of the sheet metal part or drawing or assembly? And I missed the drawing earlier. The Revit, we have the fundamental, advanced, content, many different tests. And these are hands-on, providing detailed skills assessment, needing your meaning that you need Revit software tool. They're going to have you download a data set and give a result. So you need to have that. Maybe that person that you're interviewing comes in for an hour, and these are anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour is the average. We don't want to have more than that. So you want to really test their knowledge and skill of the software. You can also go into the back end of this and create custom content of tests. So if you want to take out some of the questions or add in your own questions in between the ones that are here in addition, you can. Then you can tag these questions, the test questions, to the content that you want to add into the back end of Productivity Now. You can do that. So we're going back to the admin utility here. This is what it is. You have the ability to assign a learning path out of box. You can go in and assign a chapter or a entire learning path. You can do that. You can do it to a group. You can do it to assign it to a group or an individual, set a due date, and it will assign that course or that entire learning path. The other thing this lets you do is with the Knowledge Smart add-on, it is additional pricing, but the return on investment is extremely fast, and I'll show you how. I'm going to assign an assessment. And I'm going to say I want to assign the 2D 2019 AutoCAD Fundamentals to a group, to a user, or someone I'm interviewing. So then I can set a due date and say, I need this done by next Wednesday. We want to get you hired sooner than later. So you're able to then assign that to that interviewee. Have them come in or have them download a trial and get the information back from that test to find out, are they qualified as a tool? Not necessarily their other, characteristics you look for in hiring someone, but we're looking at what they know about the tools that you use. If internally you are able to assign that test to a learning path, what's nice about that, any question you get correct in the test is hidden and passed in Productivity Now, the content of the learning path. What does that look like? I'll show you in a moment. Also, I can manage the completed ones. Maybe this person we ended up hiring, they didn't know AutoCAD real well, but they were a great hire, so we convert them to an employee and assign the training to teach them AutoCAD. That is the nice part. What does it look like? Well, I showed you earlier about how you have to check off everything, take a quiz, and do everything in the chapters. When you're working with Knowledge Smart, you're going to see a KS trophy in the top of the corner of it. And when you go into this, you're going to see a lot less information depending on how you did on that particular test. In this one, I actually took the AutoCAD 2019 Fundamental Part 2. I did take that test. Fundamentals in a classroom for AutoCAD is 40 hours, 5-day class. And IMAGINiT if you take it live. Now, Part 2, let's say 20 hours. I spent 30 minutes on taking the test, and now I have to go read one page. I missed something on grips, not sure what it was, but I need to study this and review this, and then I can finish. I also, in this chapter, which, by the way, multiple chapters were part of the Fundamentals Part 2, but I only missed this much. So again, 20 hours of work if I didn't have Knowledge Smart. In here, 2 pages. So overall, if I even took a break, that's an hour. So maybe 15 minutes of reading, 15-minute break, 30 minutes of taking the quiz or the test itself, and I'm done with Part 2, 20 hours of work within an hour. I just saved you 19 hours, or the user, the employee, company time, 19 hours of training because they know the software. We just filled a couple knowledge gaps that they just needed to remind themselves or be taught the new stuff. That's $1,900 at a burden rate of $100 a burden, an hour. You pretty much have paid for the year for your company, depending on what size or how many users, but $1,900 goes a long way when you're talking about return on investment. Time is money. So that's why we sell pretty much every Productivity Now Pro Professional version with the Knowledge Smart add-on. There are a few out there that do not, have the ability, and unfortunately, they do have to, go through each one, but, teach their own. The other thing that is very nice about our management is you're able to set up your own users, whether you just say new and add someone, put them in the right group. You can actually put them and put up permissions to whatever group you want. Administrators can do everything. Content managers cannot administrate users. And reporting managers can just pretty much view reports and enroll users and look at the learning path reports. Standard users cannot do anything. I can upload a XLS sheet. I can sync with Active Directory. I can set up rules that say if I am an administrator or a manager that I go to the reporting managers. So everything in here is very well laid out. You're able to also do single sign-on and set that up. So everything in here you're going to see is very well laid out. You have ease of administration. You're able to manage the content. You can copy and reuse workflows. You can drag and drop your own documents and videos and Excel sheets, everything into here that you have already. Use them in quizzes or take and set up a live class and then have people attend after a certain amount of chapters. Copy a learning path and drop the workflows, documents, videos, classes, and quizzes into your version of your training. All that's available. The last part of this I want to look at is your own branding. You can actually come back to here and do your own branding and set up your own logos, your own colors. You can do a brand new one and really go to town with a lot of marketing and really change the fonts and the colors and the icons. You're able to do all of that in our system. So now it becomes more of your system. It's your look, your colors, your brand. So that's everything that I wanted to show today on the Productivity Now. I'm going to turn it back over to Kevin so he can kind of wrap up with a few ideas on the ROI or the costing.
The one other thing that Todd did not show but you saw in the management console was the reporting capability. The system is a full functioning LMS, so everything is tracked, and from that standpoint, you have access to all of the reports as such. You know, you saw kind of the huge list of content and products that we have content for. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but know that we do have multiple versions covered, as well as, you know, fundamentals and intermediate and advanced for a large percentage of these courses from that standpoint. Todd talked a little bit about the Knowledge Smart Assessment. It is an incredibly valuable tool that we have had extreme success with. And like I said, when you're looking at efficiency of your users, trying to keep them engaged, it's a huge piece of the puzzle, because it allows them to address, like I said, those skill gaps that exist. Instead of just trying to throw the whole book at it, now I'm throwing specific content to address that material. And we talked about the optional content that is there for an add-on and available. We're continually adding to these libraries, updating them and such. But the real meat and potatoes of this is, you know, the return on investment. You know, every one of our clients that are actively using the system are seeing a great return, because they're getting that efficiency from their employees. They're getting happier employees who are more effective. And our research with the tool is showing that literally an investment is with as little as 48 cents a day per user. It's getting a positive ROI to the customer between time savings, additional productivity and such, with as little as 16% of their users gaining a half hour a week. So, and our finding is we believe more customers are getting far above that type, but that's just the break-even point. Anything beyond that is just turning, you know, to a pure profit for your company. So with that, you know, again, I want to thank you for that. The next step, you know, is definitely reach out to your IMAGINiT account manager to set up a one-on-one personalized demonstration and to get pricing. If you're not familiar with who your account manager is within IMAGINiT, just give us a call at our 800 number, and we'll definitely get you hooked up with them.